Welcome back, everybody. It's Mr. Junior, and welcome to Castle Sports Talk. I don't know if you can see, but I put like snow coming down. Yeah, that's pretty dope, right? Just because I could do it, I did that. I could do fog too, or rain. I was thinking about doing fog because then it looks really dope. But snow, that's what we're doing today. And today we're gonna be talking about the NFL free agency. We're gonna recap it. We're gonna analyze it, and we're gonna be quick hitting today. Um, I want to get through this fast, but not too fast, where we don't talk about the important things. So I'm hoping maybe like what, a 30-minute video, and we're gonna go through the motions together because I have not looked at the whole free agency recap by myself yet. Obviously, I know the big signings, but I do not know all the little signings as well. So we're gonna go through the motions together. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen here. Get straight to it. Go StreamYard. Yep, it pops up, and here we go. Here we got Marquise Brown signing with the Chiefs. A nice little video. That's gonna be fire to watch in Kansas City because he's a fast, explosive guy and can run routes well. Kind of reminds you of, dare I say it, Tyreek Hill on that team. Just not as fast, but he's definitely a great route runner, and for his size, has great hands, and obviously has the speed. So here we're gonna start with the AFC East first. Buffalo Bills. They got Mac Hollins, probably gonna be their wide receiver 4 or 5. Curtis Samuel's the big signing, 3 years, $30 million contract. So we're gonna look at the money on these contracts, and if you don't know these players, you can look at the money, look at the years, and see how important these guys are, see how good these guys are, see how coveted these guys are, see how valuable these guys are, and see, you can kind of get an idea of what they mean to the team. Deion Dawkins signed an extension. I would say the biggest signing here is Curtis Samuel, because now they have Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis left to Jacksonville. Now you have Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel. Dalton Kincaid. I don't really know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing with this, but I'm guessing they're gonna tell us in the draft. Maybe get an Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell, who's gonna be their deep guy, their big deep guy, and they're probably gonna have 2 slot guys in Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir. That's what I'm thinking. That makes the most sense. If they don't go wide receiver round 1 or round 2, I will be really confused by this Curtis Samuel signing. But nonetheless, I do like Curtis Samuel, the player. It's just they have another slot guy, and they do need an extra boundary receiver. Maybe they get it with AD Mitchell. Moving on to the Miami Dolphins. They are in a huge predicament, hole, whatever you want to call it, just because of their salary cap. They don't have that much money to spend, but they have a lot of holes to fill. So you see a bunch of small signings here. The biggest signing they have is Jordan Brooks, a linebacker. That's the biggest signing they have. That ain't much. And a lot of people have left. I do like the Jonnu Smith signing. If you're looking for a late flyer tight end in fantasy drafts, Jonnu Smith is a great pick. We're just going to move past this because there's really nothing exciting here. They do have Jordan Poyer on a 1-year deal, but he's really older. New England Patriots. I'm from Boston. Not a huge Patriots fan, but Patriots are my second favorite team. Just because I'm from the New England area. They have Jacoby Brissett as their backup quarterback, Antonio Gibson as their RB2. They've re-signed Kendrick Bourne. It's a pretty nice little contract, 3 years, $33 million. KJ Osborne coming from Minnesota. Re-signed Hunter Henry. I don't know. Looks like they're shoring up their pass catchers. Probably lets us know that they're going to go quarterback with their 3rd pick. Also, I want to say this is a prequel to my next video I will drop with Zion. Zion's actually over there playing Madden. This is a prequel to the mock draft video me and Zion are going to drop, and this is just a free agency recap, kind of to like get us prepared for that mock draft that we're going to drop. So it, by their pass catching signings, it's looking like they're going to draft a quarterback. They're in a rare position, not a rare position. They're in a good position to have a great defense. They already have a great defense. It's looking maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. still, but they re-signed Kendrick Bourne, signed KJ Osborne, and re-signed Hunter Henry. It's looking like they're gonna draft either Drake May or Jaden Daniels. Their defense is great. They got Kyle Duggar back on a franchise tag. Great job on them. The Jets signing a bunch of offensive linemen, Morgan Moses on a 1-year deal, Teron Smith on a 1-year deal, and even John Simpson on a 2-year deal. They just signed Mike Williams from my Chargers on a 1-year, $15 million deal. They have a backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, that is competent, a lot more competent than Zach Wilson. It's looking like they're all go. They are trying to win a Super Bowl this year. They have Aaron Rodgers. They have Garrett Wilson. Now they have Mike Williams. They drafted 3 offensive linemen, and that was their biggest hole last year. They're going for it. They're going for it all. And watch out for the Jets this year, especially if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. If Tyrod Taylor has to start because of an Aaron Rodgers injury, they could still have good playoff aspirations. So yeah. We're going to move on to the AFC North. Baltimore Ravens signed Derrick Henry on a 2-year, $60 million contract. They re-signed Justin Madubuike, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, on a 4-year, $100 million contract. The biggest thing here is Derrick Henry. Beast. The king. Derrick Henry being matched up with Lamar Jackson. Fireworks in the run game. Their rushing stats are going to be out of this world. We're just going to move on just because they don't have too much going on. We'll see what they do in the draft. We'll see what we do in the mock draft because they already have a great roster. They don't need to do much. They brought in Derrick Henry. Amazing. The Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I did not know they signed Mike Gesicki. I did not know they re-signed Drew Sample. I don't know who Tanner Hudson is. But they have 3 tight ends in that room now. I was thinking they would go for Brock Bowers, round 1. I was thinking they would go for Jatavian Sanders, maybe round 2 or 3, rookie tight ends. I don't know. Do they go tight end? The fact that they made new contracts with 3 tight ends kind of makes me think that they're going to go offensive linemen in the draft. The biggest controversial thing in Cincinnati right now is T. Higgins. T. Higgins was hoping that he would get traded, hoping that he would leave. I said in my last video, he dropped a song on Instagram where he goes, "Locked up, they won't let me out. They won't let me out." He wants to leave. He doesn't want to play for the Bengals without a brand new deal. They didn't give him a new deal. They franchise tagged him. They could trade him still. We don't know. That's a big question mark. They could trade him maybe for a first-round draft pick. They're not going to get first-round draft pick. They could trade T. Higgins and their first to move up in the draft for a higher first-round pick. Maybe they want an offensive tackle. Maybe they do want Brock Bowers. Maybe they want Brian Thomas Jr. We'll see. I like Von Bell. I like Von Bell going to them, by the way. Cleveland Browns, they are another team that is going for it. Jerry Jeudy. That is what I'm going to talk about. Jerry Jeudy acquired in a trade from the Denver Broncos in exchange for a 5th and 6th round pick. Then they signed Jerry Jeudy to 3 years, $58 million contract. Cleveland, what the hell are you doing? Jerry Jeudy, a disappointing first-round pick that hasn't really done anything in the NFL? You get him $60 million? That's a head scratcher right there. But I don't blame them because they are going for it. They are going for it. They have Deshaun Watson, one of the best defenses in the league. This is just them saying, hey, we need guys in this building that can play wide receiver, and this is the guy we have, so we're going to sign him. They must have faith in him. I don't know. Jerry Jeudy sucks, but we'll see how he does in Cleveland. Like, how do you sign him before you even see him play in Cleveland? Come on now. That's a head scratcher. Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the Steelers. They're not my favorite team, but I do love the Steelers organization. They picked up Van Jefferson. I've always liked them since the Rams. I wish he did something with Atlanta, but Arthur Smith, terrible head coach. I hope he does something with the Steelers. Patrick Queen, one of my favorite signings this offseason. Another chef's kiss signing. Patrick Queen will do damage in Pittsburgh. Dante Jackson acquired in a trade from the Panthers for Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson made the Panthers win that trade. The Panthers won that trade, but that doesn't mean the Steelers didn't get a good cornerback from Dante Jackson and didn't feel a need. Fill a need. All right, so I like the defensive moves that the Steelers have done. Moving on to the AFC South, Joe Mixon acquired in a trade. I love it. Him and Damian Pierce are gonna be good. The Texans are gonna be even better than last year. They brought back Dalton Schultz. All right, they re-signed. I don't know if they have it here. They just re-signed their edge. They don't have it here. They don't have it here. They signed Daniil Hunter and they re-signed their edge, Derek Barnett. So they're running it back and then some. And then some. They brought in Daniil Hunter. They brought in Aziz Al-Shahir from the Titans. Another chef's kiss signing. This team is nasty. Look for this team to, again, compete for the Super Bowl. That's the thing with the AFC. You have like 10 teams trying to compete for that AFC championship and win a trip to the Super Bowl. They got Jeff Okuda? Oh, shit. The Texans are cooking. They got Jeff Okuda. That's what I'm saying. We're going through the motions together, guys. Indianapolis Colts, Joe Flacco, one of the best Cinderella stories of last year, earned himself a nice little $8.7 million paycheck from the Colts. I love it. To back up Anthony Richardson. I love it. The Colts, I don't think are ready to compete for the Super Bowl, but I think with A-Rich, they're ready to compete for a playoff spot and for this division. But they got to battle against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Traded from my guy, Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones was dealt a bad hand with New England. Goes to show that it really doesn't matter the prospect you are. If you're a quarterback, it really just matters the situation. So he'll get a chance to back up Trevor Lawrence. They signed Gabe Davis to a 3-year, $39 million deal. I don't know how to feel about that. They have Christian Kirk, and I've been thinking about this. Obviously, I knew they signed Gabe Davis. This isn't new for me, but I've never really okay, Gabe Davis is gonna be the guy going deep. Christian Kirk. I get Calvin Ridley was too expensive, but I just don't think Gabe Davis is a needle mover for this team. I think they could have used this money defensively. I'm just not in love with Gabe Davis, the player, I guess. I think he does one thing really good, which is go deep, and that's pretty much it. At an NFL level, he goes deep, but that's pretty much it. I think you could have used this $40 million somewhere else, to be honest. They brought in Devin Duvernay. Dude always gets no, he doesn't always get injured. I'm thinking of Rashad Bateman. But Devin Duvernay is decent, but not really a great receiver. Had the chance to shine in Baltimore, didn't really do much. I don't like these two signings. If they don't see, if they draft wide receiver, it's like, then why sign Davis and Duvernay? But if they don't sign wide receiver, they don't have enough. I don't like this. Use this $40 million for defense and draft a first-round receiver. Call it a day. Draft A.D. Mitchell. I don't get it. They have Eric Armstead. Nice. They did use some money for the defense. I almost forgot they got Eric Armstead. 3 years, $51 million. But shit, like, what if you use this? For example, Derek Barnett, who just re-signed with the Texans. I don't know, like. And then they have Josh Allen, one of my favorite edge rushers in the league, probably the best. This dude went off the past 2 years. Franchise tag. We'll see if they get a deal done next year. The Tennessee Titans, backup quarterback Mason Rudolph, secured. RB1 to have a tandem with Tajay Spears, secured with Tony Pollard. Wide receiver 1 to really have a guy that's competent enough next to DeAndre Hopkins, secured with Calvin Ridley stole them from a division rival, Jacksonville Jaguars. Secured. I really love their offseason. I thought the Titans were in a very bad place, a very dark place. But I'm not mad at Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, and Mason Rudolph. They got Sebastian Joseph Day from the Chargers, and they got Kenneth Murray from the Chargers. I like it. Oh, and of course they got Lord Cushenberry. That's the biggest reason they're in such a dark spot, because of their offensive line. But they got Lord Cushenberry, a very, very good center, and they're gonna go offensive tackle, probably Joe Alt in round one. So I really do think they had a great free agency. I do. I like what they did, considering the very dark place they were at. Not ready to compete for a playoff spot, but next year maybe. And I do like Will Levis. I will be drafting a lot of Will Levis this offseason. Fantasy tip. Onto the AFC West. How many minutes are we in? I don't even know. Like, I'm still learning. Oh, 16 minutes. Not bad. We're doing good. Denver Broncos, another team in a very, very, very dark place, like Miami and Tennessee. But unlike Tennessee, I'm saying this wrong, but like Denver and unlike Tennessee, they have no money. They have no money. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. And this just looks ugly. Like, this just looks ugly. The biggest deal is Malcolm Roach. Like, even that's an ugly name. Who are you? 2 years? That's your biggest signing? Granted, that's the best they could do, but that's what I'm saying. They're in such a dark place. They really do need to hit in the draft, but they have no picks. They have like 4 picks. They're in such a dark place. They're going to have to trade back from that 12th spot if anyone's willing to take it. Ugh. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Marquise Brown, like I opened up the video with, 1-year deal, $11 million. Very, very good for him and his fantasy value stock. How early will he go in fantasy? We'll see. Good receiver, great situation. Good receiver, great situation. So look for me to start targeting him in drafts depending on the value. Resign Chris Jones to a whopping $160 million contract. Wow. And my son Zion knows that I like to say Chris Jones is as much as an influence to that Super Bowl ring, just as much as Patrick Mahomes. Without Chris Jones, they don't get it. Without Chris Jones, they don't get that ring. They re-signed Drew Tranquill on a 3-year, $19 million deal coming from the Chargers. I love this guy. He had a podcast for the Chargers. He was such a great personality. We didn't re-sign him. Signs a 1-year deal to the Chiefs. Does great. Earns himself a $3 million, $20 million, 3-year, $20 million contract. Good for you, Drew. I mean, I hate that you got to do it with Kansas City, and now you kind of like hate LA Chargers, and there's like a little beef. But love you, dude. Love you, dude. Sending blessings. L'Jarius Sneed on a franchise tag. Probably going to get traded, maybe to the Titans. We'll see. Most likely will stay, in my opinion. But a lot of rumors about him going to the Titans and some other teams. The Raiders. Gardner Minshew, 2-year, $25 million deal. Nice little pretty penny. Nice little pretty penny to compete with Aiden O'Connell, rookie last year, who I really like. I loved what he showed last year. And I do think he should get a chance to start, a chance to compete to start. Signed Alexander Madison. Zion, I guess that's where Madison went, to the Raiders. Alexander Madison to the Raiders. Sucks. He's a bum. They re-signed Andre James. And this is the biggest thing. Christian Wilkins, 4-year, $110 million contract coming from Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins didn't have no money to bring back anybody. And they signed, and the Raiders took advantage of that and signed Christian Wilkins. That's a huge signing. Finally, Max Crosby gets a little bit of help on that defensive line. Chandler Jones didn't work. Jerry Tillery, F you, all right? F you, bum. They're like, hey, we're going to go, who's a defensive lineman? They're like, hey, we're going to go with the sure thing defensive lineman, no matter what the cost is, and sign a 4-year, $110 million contract. Love that for them. We'll see what they do with quarterback. They might draft a quarterback, maybe Michael Penix, maybe Bo Nix. But I do see them running it back. They're not a playoff team yet, but I mean, nothing too exciting. Los Angeles Chargers, my team. I love the Will Disley. Oh no. Sorry guys. I clicked the wrong button. Let me just double check my StreamYard still going. Still going pretty good. We're at 20 minutes. I love the Will Disley and Hayden Hurst signing. We've always been struggling with blocking tight ends, probably like the past 3-4 years, I would say. We signed Trey McKitty just for that, and he was a bum. We released him like 2 years into his rookie contract. And when you're released 2 years after your rookie contract, that means you're a bum. So Trey McKitty turned out to be a bum. We got Will Disley, Hayden Hurst, sure things. Hayden Hurst was unlucky last year, got a concussion, never was able to play again, put on the IR. But what he did in Cincinnati, I liked. He just didn't produce in Carolina because of that concussion, but I liked what he did in Cincinnati. And I honestly do like what he did while he was healthy in Carolina. We signed Bradley Bozeman. I love this signing. We didn't bring back Will Clapp. Shout out Will Clapp for the best name in the NFL. Will Clapp. Will Clapp what? Them cheeks? But anyways, we lost Will Clapp, brought back a regular name dude, Bradley Bozeman. We brought back Denzel Perriman, who was with us like 3 years ago, went to the Raiders, really did his thing with the Raiders, and he's older. But I don't mind the signing. We need linebacker help, and that's exactly what he is. He's older though, so maybe let's watch out for injury and probably bring in some depth, right? I'm so glad we re-signed Alohi Gilman. But what you don't see here is that they restructured with Joey Bosa. They restructured with Khalil Mack, our two edges. So we're not going to draft edge first round. We let go of Mike Williams and traded Keenan Allen, which probably shows that we're probably going to draft wide receiver. Hello, Malik Neighbors. Hello, Marvin Harrison Jr. Hello, Romo Dunze and Brian Thomas Jr. Hope one of you guys come to LA. And I'm saying that like I live in LA. I live in Boston, guys, but huge LA Chargers fan. Now off to the NFC. NFC East. The Cowboys are making noise this offseason, but for all the wrong reasons. They are making noise because Jerry Jones, at the start of free agency, was found on his yacht. He was on his yacht. And look at this. They didn't do not a goddamn thing. They got Eric Kendricks from the Chargers. He wasn't that great. That's your biggest signing? Eric Kendricks? Come on, guys. Let's see what they do in the draft. Come on, Cowboys. America's team. Do something. It's like I'm poking you with a stick. Do something. Moving on to the New York Giants. They're in a pretty dark situation too. A lot of these NFC teams are in a lot darker situations than the AFC. The AFC just has so many contenders, so many good quarterbacks. The NFC is not like that. The NFC is kind of wide open for really anyone who wants. There's like 2 juggernauts in the NFC. Beyond that, there's not really much. The Giants are in a very dark situation. Signed Isaiah McKenzie. Oh, they traded for Brian Burns. Great trade. But guess what, Giants, you're still not in a position to contend. They really got a hit in this draft. They have the number 6 pick. Let's see what they do with it. Trade back. Maybe they draft Malik Neighbors. Maybe they draft Romo Dunze. Maybe they move back and draft offensive tackle and get some extra picks. I do love the Brian Burns trade, though. And they signed him to a whopping $150 million contract. So I do love that trade. I love their edge room. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and I know they have someone else there. I like it. Jalen Mills coming from the Patriots to the Giants. I like it. But they're still in a dark situation, very far from contending so far. And Daniel Jones, what the hell are they going to do with him? Right? They brought in Drew Luck to back him up or to start over Daniel Jones. I don't know. Daniel Jones was signed to a very, very big contract, and it immediately bit the New York Giants in the ass because Daniel Jones was never good. He was just never good. Philadelphia Eagles, these are one of those juggernauts from the NFC, probably one of the best rosters in the NFL, period. Philadelphia Eagles, they have Jalen Hurts. They just traded for Kenny Pickett to back him up. Signed Saquon Barkley, stolen from a division rival, the Giants. Signed Saquon Barkley to a $40 million contract, which is kind of rare for the Eagles to do. Eagles usually get cheap running backs and have expensive offensive lines, which has worked amazing for them. So it's definitely different to see them spend this kind of money on the running back position. But hey, Saquon Barkley is one of the best in the NFL. They still have that great offensive line. Good for them. Good for them on signing Barkley. Good for Barkley. But for fantasy, I don't know if this is good for Barkley because Jalen Hurts is going to poach a lot of those touchdowns. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Barkley poaches Hurts' touchdowns. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. If who's going to poach who. But we'll see, I guess. They re-signed Brandon Graham and signed Bryce Huff. That probably means they're going to trade Hassan Reddick. Another good edge. They have like 4 or 5 good edges right now. They have Nolan, the guy from Georgia, Nolan Smith, the edge Nolan Smith, who ran like a 4.40 last year, but wasn't that great his rookie year, but still he's going to be a good rotational piece. Bryce Huff and Brandon Graham, they're probably going to trade Hassan Reddick, so we'll see where he goes. Oh, they signed Devin White. I forgot about that. They signed CJ Gardner-Johnson. Just a really damn good roster. Really damn good roster. On to my brother's favorite team. Free you, bro. Washington Commanders. They signed Marcus Mariota. He's not going to be the starter. He's going to be their backup because guess what? They're drafting Drake May, pick 2. I don't know that for sure. I'm not an NFL insider or nothing, but Drake May's the better quarterback. Draft Drake May. Jaden Daniels did win Heisman and did have one of the greatest college seasons for a quarterback ever. But Drake May didn't have the supporting cast Jaden Daniels have. He didn't have Malik Neighbors to throw the ball to. He didn't have Malik Neighbors. Jaden Daniels had Malik Neighbors to throw the ball to. So I think Drake May is the better quarterback. They signed Austin Eckler from the Chargers. 2 years, $12 million deal. Eckler lost it, man. He lost his juice. He don't have no more juice no more. So we'll see how that signing plays out for them. But he don't got the juice. He don't got the juice like that. Not like he once did. They re-signed Jamison Crowder. Nice. Curtis Samuel left, so they need a slot receiver. Jamison Crowder is that. They got Zach Ertz, no more Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas got hurt every single year. They're like, F that. We're going with Zach Ertz. I like it because Logan Thomas gets hurt every year. Dang, how many edges did they sign? They signed it. Dorrance Armstrong, I don't know who that is, but 3 years, $45 million. Damn. Clelin Ferrell, 1 year, $3.75 million deal, who is a disappointment first-round pick from way, way back, but still a good NFL player. And Dante Fowler. And then they re-signed Ife Obada. Dang, they got 4 new contracts for edges. That edge room is solidified, to say the least. Frankie Louvu. I love Louvu. And when I found out the Commanders signed Louvu, I'm like, damn. Okay, they're going for it. They like Drake May and want to give him a good defense and good supporting cast. They got Michael Davis from the Chargers. He's up and down. And they kind of got the Chargers leftovers in Austin Eckler and Michael Davis, where those guys don't have the juice anymore, but we'll see how they do in Washington. Moving on to the NFC North. A lot of movement in the NFC North this offseason. And I'm just going to kind of speed past this because I don't want this video to be too long. DeAndre Swift, 3 years, $24 million coming from Philadelphia. Very nice. Him and Roshan Johnson are going to be very good running backs for Caleb Williams. Keenan Allen, we're going to miss you, bro. We're going to miss you. But Chicago got themselves a guy, a leader in that locker room and on the field. He is consistency personified. Any quarterback would love a wide receiver like Keenan Allen because he is dependable. He will be where you need him to be. His IQ on route running is out of this world. That's why he's not super fast. He has good size, but doesn't have the greatest size, doesn't have the greatest hands. It's that IQ and that route running. So that is very, very quarterback friendly. And for a rookie quarterback, you can't ask for nothing better. We were just talking about good quarterback situations for rookies and how that really matters for rookies. You could be a beast, but go to a bad situation, you're going to look like a terrible quarterback. Look at Bryce Young. He is a good quarterback, but he had no offensive line in Carolina. He had no receivers in Carolina. He got given a shitty situation. So Chicago is making sure they do not do that to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was just spotted at USC Pro Day throwing a 70-yard bomb. He's the real deal. Don't F this up, Chicago. And it looks like they're not trying to F this up. They got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and probably a rookie wide receiver coming up for Caleb Williams. You see all these offensive linemen they're signing. They want to protect Caleb Williams. They signed Gerald Everett from the Chargers on a 2-year, $12 million deal. He's not a blocking tight end. He's a receiving tight end. That's helpful for Williams. Re-signed Jalen Johnson to a huge deal, one of their backbones of their defense. They signed Kevin Byard. I had no idea. Dang, dare I say Caleb Williams will be the new CJ Stroud and have a great regular season and a nice little playoff run? Let's see what the Bears do. There's a lot of let's sees this video because obviously we're still in the offseason, but we haven't got to the draft yet. So teams haven't fully solidified their roster. And I still have opinions and questions up in the air, depending on what they do for the draft. So we have a lot of let's sees. Let's see what the Bears do in the draft. I think they should go receiver round 1. I really do think so. With that 9th pick. Detroit Lions went to the NFC Championship last year. How did they build on that? Re-signed Donovan Peoples-Jones. Not mad at it. Marcus Davenport, I like that for them. Re-signed Emmanuel Mosley. The biggest thing they did was sign their GM, and I don't know what his name is, and their head coach, Dan Campbell, to like multi-year contracts. Those guys transformed this franchise, like transformed them from the bottom up with culture. Re-signed that man, Dan Campbell. I'm happy they did. Damn good head coach. That's the biggest thing they did. Another Charger guy, RIP, Michael Basley, will miss you. Well, he didn't come from last year. He didn't. He was already on the Lions, but mid-season he came from the Chargers. Just want to put that out there. That I know my shit. Okay. Green Bay Packers re-signed AJ Dillon. I didn't think they were going to re-sign A.J. Dillon. I thought they were going to re-sign Aaron Jones to be the RB2 with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is one of the biggest surprises of the offseason. 4-year, $48 million deal. And they have A.J. Dillon to back him up. They have a damn good running back room for Jordan Love, who had a really good year last year. Nothing else too exciting after that. Xavier McKinney. Oh, yes. I cannot forget about that. Xavier McKinney. They desperately needed safety. A lot of Packers fans wanted this deal to happen, and they got it done. How could I forget? But Josh Jacobs is the highlight probably of this whole NFL free agency. It's going to be so fun to watch him play in Green Bay. That offense is dynamite. And dare I say, they're a juggernaut of the NFC. Minnesota Vikings just let Kirk Cousins walk, but they signed Sam Darnold, who'll probably be competing with J.J. McCarthy to start. J.J. McCarthy is very young. We all know that, so Sam Darnold will probably be starting the year. They signed Aaron Jones. So Aaron Jones leaves Green Bay to go to Minnesota. You see here riddled in this article is a bunch of division poaching. Right, division it's if I'm the Chargers, I want to sign the Chiefs players because not only do I add to my team, but I take away from a rival. So you see a lot of these, and I'll point them out because they're pretty important. They poached Aaron Jones. We'll see what he does. He's older, but he's still really good. Had a great year last year. We'll see what he does on the $7 million 1 year deal. And didn't do much beyond that. Dan Feeney, ex-Charger from 4 years ago. Oh, they brought in Jerry Tillery, ex-Charger from 2 years ago. I know all these Chargers. They signed Shaquille Griffin, not a Charger, but a very good player. Not very good, decent player, but I really like him, and I like him for the team. Just making a bunch of depth signings on defense, showing that they're not gonna lay down and finish last in this division. They're not trying to finish last. Good for them. Moving on to the NFC South, Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. The first chef's kiss of the NFC. Kirk Cousins signed an $880 million contract. Excuse me. And it's really going to highlight, not highlight, it's really going to boost the performance of Drake London. It's going to boost the performance of Darnell Mooney, who just signed a 3-year, $40 million contract. Rondale Moore is great depth to have on that team. Storm Norton, terrible. Obviously, he's not going to start for them, but I just want to say you suck, Storm Norton. You gave me nightmares playing for the Chargers, and I hope you never play another down in the NFL because of all the nightmares. Not on the hating shit. Obviously, as a man to man, I wish you do. But as an NFL fan, I hope you never play in the NFL again. Go to Atlanta. Yeah, F you, Storm Norton. But yeah, Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore, Kirk Cousins. They even signed Ray McLeod. Oh my goodness, this offense is gonna blow up, and they are a juggernaut in the NFC, whether you like it or not. They will make that jump to the juggernaut in the NFC. I'm telling you right now. I thought they were a sleeper last year with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder. Well, not Marcus. He didn't play last year, did he? I thought they were a sleeper last year and the year before that. I just like Drake London, and I like their core of Bijan Robinson and Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, and I like AJ Terrell, and I like the Jesse Bates signing, and I just thought they were ready to compete for 2 years, and they were like a slightly below average team. But look, they brought in Kirk Cousins. That's gonna boost them. Like, come on now. Again, chef's kiss signing right here. I'm glad they got it done and not the Vikings, to be honest, because I love Drake London as a prospect and I love him as a receiver. I draft him every like 20% on all my drafts since he's been drafted into the league. So I'm really, really excited to see the emergence of Drake London as a dog in the NFL. We'll see what Drake London does. Deontay Johnson, I mentioned before, the Panthers won this trade. Deontay Johnson is going to be great for Bryce Young. Let's see what lineman they brought in. They signed Nijman 2-year $8 million. Robert Hunt 5-year $100 million. Damian Lewis 4-year $53 million. They're trying to protect Bryce Young. And look at this, interior lineman. Bryce Young is short. So like Drew Brees, he needs the best of the best when it comes to interior linemen, because when you're short, it's very difficult to throw with 6'4" linemen coming at you and you're 5'11", right? So you gotta, if you have a short quarterback, you gotta invest in good interior linemen, and that's what they did here. We're just gonna move on because the Panthers are not gonna do that much damage this season. The Saints, they're not in that too happy of a situation. I wouldn't say they're in a dark situation, but I just don't like their team. I don't like their team. I don't like what their team is going to look like this year. They're going to run it back with Derek Carr. Chris Olave is going to be held back because of that. Alvin Kamara's older. They didn't sign anybody. They don't have nothing exciting to really talk about. Just not an exciting situation over there in New Orleans. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they re-signed Baker Mayfield. Love it. Hey, you got to compete. Are they going to win the Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield? No. Will they make the playoffs? I think so. Will they be fun to watch? Yeah. All right. Baker Mayfield isn't going to win you a Super Bowl, but hey, you got to compete. You got to fill seats in the stadiums. in the stadium. So I do like some people don't like it because it's like, why sign Baker Mayfield? You're never gonna win a ring with him. So what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? There was nothing else they could do. Their only option was to re-sign them, and that's exactly what they did. This was surprising. Mike Evans coming back to Tampa Bay for 2 years, $52 million deal. I booked my ticket for Mike Evans to go to somewhere else. But hey, he's coming back to Tampa Bay. So they're still a good team. Let's see what else they did. They franchise tagged Antoine Winfield. We'll see if they re-sign him on a long-term deal. Safeties. So safeties are not that vital of a position compared to edge and cornerback on defense. But we'll see if they get a deal done with this safety. Who's a really good safety? NFC West. Arizona Cardinals. Desmond Ridder is now their backup to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray gets hurt quite a bit, so we're probably going to see some more Desmond Ridder, even though he was really, really bad last year. We're probably going to see some more of him. Scrolling down. They had probably one of the worst defensive lines the NFL has ever seen last year. So they're like, hey, let's change that. Signed Justin Jones to a $30 million deal. Signed Bilal Nichols to a 3-year deal. And Kairos Tonga to a 1-year deal. Signed 2 linebackers. They even have Sean Murphy Bunton. So they invested a lot of money into their defense. Okay, so Arizona Cardinals are not trying to be the laughingstock of the league again when it comes to defense. We'll see what they do in the draft. I don't love this team. I don't even like them, but I do think they are now an average team now that Kyler Murray's back and they have a competent defensive line. Los Angeles Rams. I love what this team did last year. Everyone thought they were going to be whack. Everyone thought they were going to have 4 wins, 5 wins. They make the playoffs, guys. They made the playoffs. Okay. And what did they do? Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup. Not mad at it. Kobe Parkinson, I'm not familiar with his game, but 3-year, $22 million deal. I'm guessing Tyler Higbee is leaving, or is Tyler Higbee still on the team? Nothing too crazy for the Rams, but we'll see what they do in the draft. I hope they draft. Well, I hope the Chargers draft Latu, but we're not going to draft them. So I think the Rams. I don't hope the Rams get them because I kind of don't like the Rams because they're the other Los Angeles team. And like as a default, they got to be my rival. But I love the season they had last year. And if I was a Rams fan, I would pray to God they get Latu. I would pray to God. Cameron Curl, very good safety in this league. 2 years, $13 million deal. They signed Darius Williams from the Jaguars. 3 years, $22 million deal. I like it. Looks like they're in position for another playoff run. San Francisco 49ers, another juggernaut, not only in the NFC, but the NFL. Leonard Floyd, 2 years, $20 million deal. That's of note. That is of note since Chase Young signed with the who did Chase Young sign with? 1 year, $13 million deal. Where did Chase Young go? He signed for 1 year, $13 million. Brain fart, just too much information in my head. I forget where Chase Young went, but left the 49ers, so they replaced him with Leonard Floyd. Nothing else too exciting, just a really damn good roster. We'll see what they do with Brandon Ayuk. I'm hearing trades of Brandon Ayuk. I'm hearing trades. We'll see what they do with Brandon Ayuk, who is one of the best receivers in the NFL. I don't care what his stats show. That dude is a beast. No one gets separation like him. And has the hand, like the combination of route running, hands, and athleticism. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league. I hope they trade him so he could be a wide receiver 1 somewhere, just so he could prove to people that he's really one of the best in the league. Like, if he goes, I can't even think of a situation for him because Brock Purdy isn't the best quarterback, but he's pretty good. I mean, I guess he should stay for him and for the team. I just really want to see him get like 130 targets in 1 year. I really do. Seattle Seahawks, Sam Howell is now their backup quarterback. I love Sam Howell. I like this rookie year. I like this for them. Him and Geno Smith, I like their quarterback room. Noah Fant re-signed for $21 million. Why did he get $21 million? Why did Noah Fant get 20? He's good. I like him. I draft him every year in fantasy. $21 million. I'm confused by that. Leonard Williams, 3 years, $64 million. Good for them. Re-signing one of their best edges, one of their best players. A really good edge in the NFL. Ooh, Rayshon Jenkins. I love that for them. He might not have the juice no more, but I loved him ever since the Chargers. Performed very, very admirably in Carolina. Yeah, I like this for them. We'll see what Rayshon Jenkins does. Let's see if he still has juice. And that's it, guys. That is the 2024 free agency recap. Let me stop sharing my screen. Welcome to Castle Sports Talk. I'm going to be dropping some music very soon. Look out for that. Me and Zion will be dropping that mock draft I was telling y'all about. Look out for that. I'm going to be dropping, I'm hoping to make a video explaining what Underdog Fantasy is. Since I'm going to be live streaming so many drafts, I might as well have a video explaining what it is, explaining how to play it, explaining just the basics of it. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night or day, whatever time you're watching this. And look out for that mock draft video. It's going to be a good one. My son's going to be in it. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.